What is up, you guys? It's Dom here from Jojo Productions, and today we're talking about this. Can you see it? This. It's the Canon 5D SR. Let's talk about this thing. Now, this is it. This is the Canon 5D SR. It is the 50 megapixel monster of a DSLR, and today we're going to talk about why I chose this camera. I use this camera primarily for commercial photography. I do a lot of product work and high-end portraiture. And this camera definitely exceeds at that because of, yes, the 50 megapixels that I get from this. When I am working with clients that really need the best image quality that you can get, this camera delivers it perfectly to what I need. Now, when this camera first came out, it was $4,000. That's a lot of money. And let's be honest here, I'm kind of working on a budget-ish. And I definitely don't have $4,000 to spend on a camera like this. We looked around a little bit and I found a used one of these for about $1,300, and I said, that's better. So we added it to the cart and we bought the darn thing. So the Canon 5D SR has been just nothing but amazing for me. The images that come out of this are absolutely crazy amazing. I can crop in, I can retouch really nicely. People are absolutely just blown away by the detail that comes out of this and just the overall image that comes from the 5D SR. Let's talk about the ergonomics of this camera. If you have ever held a 5D Mark III or a 5D Mark IV, this camera is literally just that. It literally is. There's nothing really new. Now the 5D Mark IV is a little different, but this is pretty much just a 5D Mark III with a different sensor. Like, that's it. They just recycled the same body. It has a good feel to it, don't get me wrong. But yeah, it's just a 5D Mark III with a really nice sensor in the inside of this thing. Why do I use this? Like I said, I do commercial photography where I just need the best image quality, but maybe you should not be using this. If you're not doing commercial photography or trying to make ginormous prints or doing portraits at a level where you just want super nice clarity and detail, just forget about this. This camera is all about the photographer who likes to take their time and set up the shot like I do. If you are a run and gun shooter, if you do sports and events, concerts, a lot of low light shooting, this camera's not for you. The low light on this thing is crap. When I shoot this thing at weddings, which I do a little bit, I do detail shots with this, but if I want to shoot some other kind of stuff at the weddings, I think the highest that I'll put this up to is like 1600, and that is it, because the noise that comes out of this thing is unbelievable. It's disgusting, really. You don't want to use this for journalistic purposes because the frame rate from this is pretty bad. It's only like 5 frames per second, but for 50 megapixels, it's actually not too bad. But you know, you can get a better journalistic camera. Hell, you can get the 7D Mark II for about the same price, probably even less, and it shoots 10 frames per second. Now, it doesn't have the 50 megapixels in full frame and all that, but it's not supposed to have that kind of a sensor. It's not meant for that. Okay, let's talk about the little hidden feature about the 5D SR. Now, like I said, with 50 megapixels can be pretty unforgiving. You can see all of the imperfections, and I mean all of the imperfections of the image. If the shot is out of focus, it's gonna tell you. Like, you'll know. It happens to me all the time on my portrait shoots. I'll zoom in a little bit and it's out of focus and it's like, shoot. Okay. So shooting at 1.8 really isn't a thing for me half the time. Most of the time, I'm probably going to shoot my lens at like 2.8 or more. So 50 megapixels is very unforgiving. It's also very unforgiving in the way of shutter slap. My D700, which is a very clanky old tank, has a very loud, heavy shutter clank, like cha-chunk kind of a thing. Like, I can feel the camera shake when I am taking a picture. Now, luckily, it's only 12 megapixels, and you're not going to see too much shutter interruption with it. But with 50 megapixels, you damn well better believe you're going to see some shutter interruptions, which is why Canon was very smart, and they said, well, we know that 50 megapixels is going to be very unforgiving on an image, especially with the shutter slap. So what they did is they put a dampened shutter mechanism in here, and it's probably twice as soft and quiet as a normal 5D Mark III shutter. Let's listen to this thing. Yeah. One more time. For good luck. Where's the mic? There it is. Ba-boom, baby. That's it. Let me take this thing off. Hold on. That's it. Literally, that is it. It's pretty crazy. So, having that nice shutter, soft shutter is super nice. My images come out very, very sharp, especially when I'm on like a tripod and just using a trigger and stuff like that. Speaking of sharp images, if you want to get the sharpest image and the best image from this Canon 5DSR, you better put some darn good lenses in front of this because it needs it. Let's talk about lenses now. My first lens when I'm doing product photography is this guy. This is the Sigma 150 2.8. It's a pretty darn good lens and it's very sharp. I am shooting this lens at about f8 to f16. 90% of the time this is stopped all the way down. And for the most part, it definitely gets a really nice sharp image. If I am not using that lens, where is it? I am shooting the 85. The 85 1.8 is a good lens. It's not the sharpest lens. You could probably get the 85 1.4 or the 1.2. It would definitely be a bit sharper. But this definitely gets the job done. And for the most part, it looks pretty good. People are pretty happy with the results, and so am I. If I'm not using that one, I'll just strap on this little 50, do whatever I need to do with it, call it a darn day, right? So, good lenses really do matter with more megapixels. So if you can feed this thing good lenses, do it. You're going to be a lot happier. We've talked about a lot of good things, but this camera isn't exactly perfect. Now, we've already talked about one of them. We've talked about the low, or the poor high ISO performance. It's pretty crappy. Frame rate's not the best. 5 frames per second isn't exactly the fastest. One thing that I have a bit of a complaint about actually is my battery. Now, I know that this is a pretty fresh battery, meaning it's pretty new, but for some reason, I'm still not getting the best battery life from this thing as I'd like to see. Now, I don't know, maybe if it's just because this is a used copy and it's a bit older. I'm not sure if it's also because this thing is pumping 50 megapixels of detail and information through the pipelines, which can definitely take some extra energy. That might be it. I don't think it's the battery. I think it's just because it's an older model or because the files are so big. But maybe that might be an issue for you if you're looking into getting this. Also, another thing that you might have some issues with and that you're definitely going to need to update is memory, for sure. I keep a 128 gigabyte card in this thing, and when it's completely empty, shooting the full 50 megapixel RAW, I'm only getting like 1700 shots, which really, it isn't that much. But for the most part, it's fine for what I do. For my portrait shoots, like my senior shoots and stuff like that, I'm only taking, I don't know, 300 shots. Same kind of for my product shots. I'm only taking maybe 300 shots, and then that's about it. So 1700 isn't bad. If I shoot a full wedding day on this, I might fill the card, so I need to bring some extras, but I always have extras anyway. But again, you're just going to need to update the memory if you think you're going to shoot this thing, because it definitely chews through memory. Now, on the topic of memory, this thing it can definitely kind of save you on some space too, because it does have a medium RAW size, and it also has a small RAW size. Basically, what's going on here is the camera is cropping in on the sensor. It's going to have a 1.6 times crop sensor on the medium RAW, and it's only going to be a 30 megapixel image. Crop in again, and I think it's only like 18 or 19 or something megapixels like that, and it's even more of a crop. So, what's the point of getting a 50 megapixel camera if you're just going to, crop in on the sensor? I personally recommend shooting the full 50 megapixels and then just cropping it in post. It saves the quality too. You have the higher quality image. Now, some of you may be wondering, how about video? Video on this is very, very, very basic. It's nothing too great. It's not going to have the high frame rates. It's not going to have the great dynamic range. It's not going to have the 10-bit, 400 megabits per second, that kind of thing. It's not going to have any of that. this camera doesn't care about video. This camera cares about giving literally the best picture quality out there in a DSLR. As far as frame rates go, it only has like 24 frames per second, 30 frames per second, just those basic frame rates. It also has a mic jack in here, which is great. It has an HDMI cable, HDMI port, which is fine, but it doesn't have a headphone jack because, again, this thing was not made for video. It doesn't care about that. So there you go. That's the Canon 5D SR. It is a fantastic camera. Again, it's very niche. If you are doing photography where you kind of take your time and set up the shot and make sure everything's perfect, like portrait photography and product photography and just that kind of stuff, this camera's going to be great. You're going to love this thing. In fact, if that's what you do, I recommend getting one of these. Because the image that does come out of this, it is absolutely amazing, and it is the best image that I've worked with pretty much in any DSLR ever. So there you go. That's the 5DSR. If you liked this video, please give it a big thumbs up. If you loved it, subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, please leave those in the comment section below, and I'll be sure to get to those. And until next time, we will see you guys in the next video. Bye.